Hello, today I'm going to be showing you the protocol for a muscular endurance test in the form of a push-up exercise.
The purpose of assessing muscular endurance is to provide information on a client's baseline fitness level. This baseline level can serve as a starting point for designing an exercise program, and it can also be used to identify the client's strengths and weaknesses. The baseline values can be used to show the client's progression and improvements over a period of time, which is valuable feedback. This feedback can promote the adherence to long-term exercise. The test is scored based on how many completed push-ups the client can do. Their age and sex is taken into consideration, and then they are put into a category based on needs improvement, fair, good, very good, and excellent. The exercise is terminated when the last complete push-up is completed or when form is lost.
You're going to need a mat and a client. You're going to instruct your client to lay down flat on the mat to get into the position. Notice how their chin needs to be touching the ground or the mat, and their hands have to be to the side. When they come up for a push-up, their back has to be flat, and their elbows have to lock up. They're allowed to rest here, but for not that long of a period of time. And when they come down, they need to hold that position and their stomach cannot touch the ground. We can start with the exercise on the bottom. Ready for that? Keep going until you fail. Good job. Once she's failed, the exercise complete. Now, there's another push-up position that you can do, which is modified, where your client will be laying down, but when they come up, their feet will still be on the ground. They need to have a flat back, so let me tuck your stomach. Yep, there you go. Have a flat back. And then we'll start off from the bottom, and the chin needs to touch the ground as well. Now do just a flat. Yeah. And it is done.
For warming up for one repetition max, it consists of dynamic movements that are relevant to the exercise test. Now, the purpose of the one repetition max is to measure the peak force development of the subject. Subject should also warm up with an exercise that will be tested by using light weight, and this will be a submaximal warm-up so as not to cause fatigue to the muscles. The initial weight is selected by 50 to 70% of the client's perceived ability, and the rest periods will be from 3 to 5 minutes, and the repetition max should be determined within 4 trials. Weights can be increased by 2.5 to 20 kilogram increments until the loss of form or loss of fluidity of movement occurs. The goal is to complete one set with one repetition. The last completed lift that's possible will be determined as a one repetition max. The strength to weight ratio would also be determined by the amount of weight being used divided by the client's body weight. Proper form should always be utilized when doing maximal testing. The feet should be placed at shoulder width apart, and the client's hands need to be beside their body, not used to help with the movement. The client will go all the way down and all the way up for full range of motion, and that will be completed as one set. You don't want to lock out the knees. Here the subject is doing the submaximal warm-up exercise for the one repetition max for the leg press. It is not too much effort on the subject, and she is able to complete the reps with ease. Percentage of her perceived exertion has been calculated, and now we are completing the one rep max. She goes down and up. This is the second trial. She goes down and up. She now goes for her third attempt. She's unable to complete it, so the previous weight used is her 1 repetition max. Now there's a difference between submaximal and maximal exercise testing, and that is that the client is exercising below their maximal effort, and the results are put into an equation to estimate the maximum capacity. A submaximum test would be used over a maximal test when clients are new to exercise, when testing adolescents, and when testing older adults. The submax test can cause less physiological stress and lead to less occurrence of muscular injury. The end of the test is signified when the client can no longer complete 10 repetitions. The range for repetitions is from 2 to 10 on the final set that can be completed, and the weight will be used to be an equation to predict the 1 repetition max. Here, the client is completing the exercise on the submaximal level by completing 10 repetitions. Here, the client is working to complete the exercise test, but fails at the 5th rep. Hello, this is the equation for the predicted 1 repetition max. You're going to take the weight lifted divided by 1.278 minus 0.278x, where x is the number of reps performed. You're going to use pounds, go by the numbers. 10 reps was achieved here. Reduce, do the calculations. The equation for the predicted 1 RM is 26.6 pounds.